All right, now, this is about a protest group going now in Midtown New York. I want to focus on it. They're very mad about something. But before you start thinking this is a right or left-wing group, keep in mind that they are a bipartisan attacker. In other words, they went after Andrew Cuomo on sort of cozying up to his big Wall Street donors and resisting changes to forgive a lot of Puerto Rican debt. And they're now going after Chris Christie in New Jersey, saying that a lot of hedge funds have been investing pension money in the state and doing a pathetic job at it. So they attack with equal glee any and all. But their focus is on hedge funds. This is why they call themselves Hedge Fund Clippers. Their leader, Jonathan Westin, with us right now. Jonathan, good to have you. Now, I know it's probably a little loud there.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. In this case, I mean, with first on Chris Christie in New Jersey, you're arguing that the state has relied too heavily on investing its pension fund money through hedge funds and that they wasted a lot of money, and that was a mistake. Is that the gist of it?
Yeah. I mean, I think what we've seen is Governor Christie in New Jersey give a lot, millions and millions in pension money to some of his closest hedge fund allies that are funding his campaign for president, while at the same time those hedge funds are not managing the money well enough to actually be profitable for everyday people that have pensions that are invested in them. They charge such high fees and they produce such low returns. There's no reason we should be investing pension money in New Jersey or, frankly, across the country in hedge funds. I was just going to ask that, Jonathan. So other states that are doing this, Democrats running those states, you just don't want hedge funds in that business, even though by and large they have, and until very recently, gotten better returns. But your argument has been with the kind of roughly comparable returns to other investment vehicles, why should states pay those sky-high fees, right? Yeah, I mean, I think the returns that we've seen are not even producing on the same level as index funds or just everyday the everyday stock market. And I think what we continue to see is that hedge funds are a bad investment, and not only what they do in terms of how poorly they perform, but all of the other things that they're doing in their extracurricular activities, whether it's driving austerity measures in Puerto Rico or attacking healthcare.
Well, what would you do in Puerto Rico? That was your case against
costs.
Andrew Cuomo in New York, that he's just cozying up to his Wall Street buddies and not going for this talk of forgiving all these Puerto Rican debts. I think they got $72 billion in debt. These are the guys, the hedge funds, you're saying, are the ones who are telling him, don't do that, don't let them get away with this. Yep. But the flip side of that, right, is that all of a sudden, if we start forgiving their debts, who's next? And where's the money going to come from?
Well, I think, let's be clear. This is what this is about. This is about billionaire hedge fund managers that are looking to make boatloads of money while preying on everyday people in Puerto Rico.
But Jonathan, even if you took them out of the, let's say you took them out of the equation. All right, let's say you took the hedge funds out of the equation, because there are a lot of traditional capital guys who agree with you. They're not fans of hedge funds either. But then if you forgive or find a way to allow Puerto Ricans to be exonerated from their debts, what's next? I mean, there are a lot of states, municipalities in this country in the same boat. Then you just bail them all out?
I mean, I think it's impossible to take hedge funds out of the equation when they own such a huge percentage of the debt in Puerto Rico. But I think what I would relate it to is we did the same thing to banks in Wall Street. We bailed out Wall Street. We took on their debt as everyday citizens in this country. We took on their debt. So when we can do it for Wall Street, but we can't do it for an island of 4 million people, it seems a bit hypocritical.
But what if there are other islands? No, you raise a good point. And by the way, that was the issue. Well, no, you raised a very good point. That was the same issue we raised when these bank bailouts started on this very show under President Bush, because it would lead to a slippery slope and it would lead to requests and demands for other bailouts, and that is exactly what's happening now. But you argue about forgiving and helping 4 million people. What if there are other people, other states, other areas? I mean, isn't that what got us in this crock, taking hedge funds out of it?
I mean, there's countries across the world. I mean, these vulture funds, and they call them vulture funds for a reason, have preyed on countries all across the world, from Argentina to Greece, now Puerto Rico, where they are bankrupting countries. Yes, they're coming in, they're taking out the wealth and extracting it.
You seem to be focusing on hedge funds as the source of all evil.
Well, the hedge funds are the ones coming in and saying we want our money back and we want it back first, without actually trying to negotiate and put in place something reasonable for the Puerto Rican people so that they can actually get out of this crisis. And instead, they're going to drive Puerto Rico into a deep depression.
All right. Jonathan, it's very good having you, and you are a fair attacker on both sides here. You've done that for quite some time, but very good having you. We'll see how this goes.